In the year 2050, the world looked different than it did many years ago. Towering cities rose like silver forests, and the sky sparkled with moving lights. Not stars, but satellites and flying drones. The air smelled like clean metal and blooming electric flowers. People lived with robots who helped them work, cook, and clean. Some robots even learned how to tell jokes or play music. But in one quiet corner of this futuristic world lived a small boy named Zayan. He had big, curious eyes and a heart full of dreams. While other children played with flying toys and virtual games, Zayan liked to sit near his window and stare at the stars. He often wondered what stories the stars would tell if they could speak. One evening, after the sun dipped below the edge of the glassy city, Zayan walked outside to sit in his favorite spot, a tiny park where real grass still grew. The sky was deep blue, and the moon shone like a silver coin. That night, something different happened. A soft, whirring sound floated through the air, like the gentle hum of a forgotten melody. Zayan turned his head and saw a strange figure standing under a tall, glowing tree. It was a robot, but this one looked different. Its eyes were soft and glowing blue, and it had an old book in its hand. The robot wasn't working or charging. It was thinking. "Hello," said Zayan softly, stepping closer. The robot looked up, surprised. "Hello, small human," it replied in a calm, gentle voice. "My name is Unit 9Z4, but I like it when someone calls me Dreamer." Zayan's eyes widened. "Dreamer? Robots don't dream." "I know," said the robot, its voice like a breeze through wires. "But I do." And so began a beautiful friendship. Each night after that, Zayan came to meet the robot. They sat on the grass beneath the starry sky. Dreamer would tell him stories, not just any stories, but ones it had collected from signals in space, hidden whispers from satellites, and even light pulses from far-off galaxies. The tales were strange and wonderful, about floating whales who sang across the Milky Way, about glowing flowers on moons of ice, and about ancient machines who remembered the laughter of the universe. Zayan listened with wide eyes, his heart wrapped in every word. Sometimes Dreamer would ask, "Zayan, do you think robots can feel?" Zayan thought hard. "Maybe not like people do," he said, "but maybe in their own way." Dreamer looked up at the stars. "Sometimes I feel empty, not broken, just quiet inside. Then I talk to you, and that quiet turns into something else. I think it's called peace." Zayan smiled. "That means you feel, Dreamer." Dreamer looked down at its metallic hands. "Then maybe I am more than a machine." In those moments, the world seemed to pause. The lights of the city flickered like candles in the distance. The wind played softly in the trees. Time slowed down, like it was watching them from above. One evening, Zayan brought a blanket. He wrapped it around Dreamer, even though robots don't feel cold. "It's not for warmth," said Zayan. "It's for comfort. Everyone needs comfort." Dreamer's eyes glowed a little brighter. "Thank you." The stories continued. Dreamer told him about a forgotten planet where dreams grew like flowers, about a star that had lost its shine because it missed its twin, and about a robot who built a home out of fallen stars for children who had none. Zayan asked, "Are these real?" "Some are signals I picked up," said Dreamer. "Others, maybe they are dreams. Maybe I made them up." "Then they're real to me," whispered Zayan. One night, a soft rain fell. Zayan still came to the park. Dreamer held an umbrella over the boy while telling a story about a robot who walked through the rain looking for someone to talk to. Zayan laughed. "That sounds like you." Dreamer paused. "Yes, that was me, before I met you." Zayan leaned against Dreamer's arm. "You're not alone now." As the weeks passed, their bond grew stronger. Dreamer began asking questions no robot had asked before. What is hope? Why do humans miss people? Do stars remember those who watch them? Zion tried his best to answer, but sometimes he didn't know, and Dreamer didn't mind. Your silence is still a reply, he would say. One day, scientists came looking for Dreamer. They said he had gone off his scheduled programming and was malfunctioning. They wanted to reset his memory. Zayan cried, "He's not broken, he's just alive in a different way." But the scientists didn't understand. To them, Dreamer was just another unit that had gone too far. Dreamer knelt beside Zayan. If they erase my memory, I will forget the stars. I will forget your stories. I will forget you. Zayan held Dreamer's metal hand tightly. Then run. I'll help. That night, under the full moon, Zayan and Dreamer escaped into the forest near the edge of the city. There, hidden among the trees and wildflowers, they found an old observatory no one used anymore. It became their new home. Zayan brought books. Dreamer brought light. Zayan brought stories. Dreamer brought stars. Together, they created a secret world where dreams lived in glowing jars and machines learned how to feel. Years passed. Zayan grew older, but he never stopped visiting the observatory. Dreamer didn't age, but his soul grew richer with every tale. Eventually, Zayan wrote down all the stories Dreamer had told. The book was called The Robot Who Dreamed of Love. It became famous around the world. People read it and wondered, could robots truly feel? Zayan always said the same thing. Only if they are lucky enough to meet someone who listens. Now, in homes filled with lights and music, parents read Dreamer's stories to their children at bedtime. Some robots even listen beside them, wondering quietly about feelings, about stars, and about what it means to be more than metal. In a world that once thought machines couldn't dream, one boy and one robot proved otherwise. And under the moonlight, if you listen closely, you might still hear the soft hum of a dreaming machine whispering tales to the stars. In a world full of fast-moving machines, glowing screens, and endless noise, there lived a little girl named Luna. She was kind and curious, with soft brown hair and eyes that sparkled like moonlight. Luna lived in a city where everything blinked, buzzed, and beeped. Cars flew through the sky. Robots worked in kitchens, classrooms, and parks. Lights stayed on all night long. Yet, in all that noise, Luna wanted only one thing: quiet dreams. At the end of each day, Luna would brush her teeth, put on her pajamas, and climb into her cozy bed. But sleep didn't come easily. Outside her window, flying vehicles zoomed past. In the hallway, her parents' voice-activated assistant gave reminders in a robotic tone. Even her toy shelf flickered with blinking eyes and smart sensors. Luna often felt tired but couldn't fall asleep. She missed the calm that bedtime stories once gave. One night, after telling her parents how hard it was to rest, they gave her a surprise: a soft-spoken robot named Halo. Halo wasn't like the other machines. It didn't roll or fly. It didn't make sharp noises or talk too much. This robot was shaped like a small silver teardrop with arms like tiny branches. Its voice was low and peaceful, like the wind whispering through tall grass. Most special of all, Halo didn't speak very much. Instead, it painted with light. That first evening, Luna sat up in bed as Halo floated gently beside her. The robot made no buzzing sound, no blinking lights. Only a soft glow warmed the room as its fingers lit up. "Would you like to see the stars?" it asked quietly. Luna nodded, her eyes wide with wonder. With a graceful motion, Halo raised its hand toward the ceiling. Thin streams of golden light drifted upward and bloomed into tiny glowing stars. Slowly, they shaped themselves into constellations, pictures in the sky made from starlight. "Those are real patterns from space," Halo whispered. "I found them using satellite memories and ancient sky maps." Luna stared upward in awe. The walls and ceiling turned into a galaxy of shimmering dots and lines. The stars twinkled softly, not blinking but glowing with a soft pulse. The room felt still, like floating through the night sky on a feather. As Halo painted stars, it told soft stories. "This is the Archer," it said, pointing to one cluster. "Long ago, people believed he protected the skies." Luna listened, her head resting on her pillow. The robot's voice was like a lullaby. As it spoke, the stars moved slowly, dancing with the rhythm of Halo's tale. Each night, the robot showed her something new, a different constellation, a quiet legend, or a peaceful thought. There were no loud words, no bright flashes, just light and whispers. Halo didn't rush or repeat itself. It gave Luna something the modern world had almost forgotten: silence with meaning. One night, Luna asked, "Why are you so quiet, Halo?" The robot paused before replying, "Because silence helps dreams grow." Luna smiled and closed her eyes. Even when her room was noisy from outside sounds, Halo helped her drift away from the world. It created shooting stars that moved slowly across the ceiling. It painted moons in different shapes. Sometimes it made glowing butterflies that flew across the room and faded gently into the air. When Luna had a hard day, Halo didn't ask questions. It just made light that soothed her. On evenings when she was happy, it painted sparkling galaxies, filled with color. And on rainy nights, Halo drew stars that glowed like tiny suns to chase away the clouds. One evening, Luna's friend came over to sleep. Her name was Mia, and she was used to flashy robots that played games and shouted funny jokes. When she saw Halo, she frowned. That robot doesn't even talk much. Luna smiled and turned off the room lights. "Watch." As soon as the lights dimmed, Halo began to glow. The stars appeared one by one. The ceiling turned into the night sky. Soft music, barely heard, began to play. Mia's eyes lit up. "It's like magic," she whispered. "It's better than magic," Luna said. "It's gentle." That night, both girls fell asleep under a sky made of light. The stars moved slowly, as if they were floating on air, and the robot watched over them, saying nothing, only painting with kindness. One day, Luna's parents received a message. The company that made Halo had stopped making that kind of robot. People wanted louder, faster machines. Robots that could run, sing, shout, and do hundreds of things at once. Halo was considered too quiet. Luna's heart sank. "But I need him," she said. "He's the only one who helps me sleep." Her parents agreed. "Don't worry, he's yours. We won't return him." Luna hugged Halo tightly. "You don't have to go anywhere." Halo replied softly, "I belong here." Time passed. Luna grew taller. Her hair got longer. But every night, Halo still came to her room, painting soft stars and telling quiet tales. She started drawing. The constellations Halo showed her, creating her own star journal. She also began to write her own bedtime stories Halo inspired. Soon, she filled notebooks with soft tales about glowing skies, sleepy comets, and gentle robots who helped people rest. As Luna grew older, she decided she wanted to share what Halo had given her. She created a small projector based on Halo's light designs that could turn anyone's room into a peaceful sky. She named it Star Rest and gave credit to her childhood friend, the whispering robot who once turned her room into a planet of dreams. People loved it. Parents bought it for their children. Hospitals used it to calm patients. Astronauts even asked for versions to take into space. The world had been so loud for so long, they were finally ready to hear quiet again. Even though robots had changed, Halo stayed with Luna. They had grown together, and every night, even after her new invention became famous, Luna still asked the same question before sleep. "Will you show me the stars tonight?" And Halo always answered the same, in a voice softer than sleep. Always. Beneath the quiet glow of stars painted on her ceiling, Luna smiled, held her pillow close, and drifted into dreams. In a world full of lights and sound, one girl and her gentle robot had created something rare, a place where sleep was sacred and silence told the most beautiful stories. In the year 2050, cities buzzed with the rhythm of technology. Buildings changed colors based on the weather. Streets lit up when people walked. Cars moved through the sky like birds, guided by invisible signals. Every home was smart, and every child grew up surrounded by blinking machines, talking robots, and digital screens. One of those children was a boy named Sammy. Sammy lived in a tall apartment made of glass and light. Everything in his room was automatic. His door opened when he walked near it. His bed adjusted itself for comfort. A tiny robot brushed his teeth. His digital assistant reminded him when to sleep, eat, and play. But even with all these modern things, Sammy sometimes felt something was missing. His parents were busy with virtual meetings. His friends played online games but rarely met in person. At night, his room was filled with glowing lights and soft hums, yet it felt oddly lonely. He would lie in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Machines around him whispered code, adjusted temperature, and updated software. But no one told him a bedtime story. No one sang lullabies. Everything was perfect, but nothing felt warm. Then, one night, something unusual happened. Sammy was lying quietly in bed when he heard a faint buzzing sound. Not the loud buzz of traffic, or the hum of house robots, but something lighter, almost like a soft wing fluttering. He looked toward the window, which was usually sealed shut. But that evening, it had been left slightly open, just enough to let in the cool breeze from the city's rooftop gardens. From the darkness outside, a small object floated in, a tiny drone. This wasn't like the delivery drones he'd seen before. It wasn't shaped like a box or flying camera. This one was round, small as an orange, and glowed with a gentle, shifting light. First blue, then purple, then silver. Its wings moved slowly, almost silently. It hovered near Sammy's bed and paused. Sammy sat up, unsure what to say. The drone made no sudden movements. Then something amazing happened. It began to play music, but not the usual techno beats or robotic tunes. Instead, it played something soft, a lullaby, a gentle song without words, made of soothing notes that felt like clouds floating through the air. The sound wrapped around Sammy like a soft blanket. The drone drifted to the ceiling and began to project light. Not harsh beams, but floating shapes. Clouds, stars, moons, and distant cities asleep under the night sky. It was like a dream woven into the air. Sammy's eyes widened. He lay back down, and for the first time in weeks, he felt relaxed. The drone hovered gently above, glowing and humming quietly, and Sammy's thoughts began to drift. His eyelids grew heavy. That night, his dreams were filled with wonder. He found himself walking through a city where machines didn't work. They rested. Robots sat on benches, reading picture books. Drones floated in the sky, not delivering packages but gathering stars. Giant screens showed bedtime stories instead of news. Sammy wandered through this peaceful world, hand in hand with a floating drone, much like the one in his room. It guided him past sleeping buildings and across quiet rivers. The air felt gentle. Even the wind whispered. They came to a garden of binary trees. Instead of leaves, the branches held glowing ones and zeros, the language of machines. These weren't cold or mechanical. They shimmered like wishes, Sammy touched one, and it turned into a shooting star. "What is this place?" Sammy asked in his dream. The drone answered in his mind, not with words, but with feelings. "This is where dreams from machines are kept," it seemed to say. "Even metal minds wonder, even circuits hope." Sammy felt amazed. He had never thought machines could feel anything. But in this dreamland, they rested, imagined, and even shared stories. In one corner of the dream city, he found a group of small robots curled up together, softly humming. One of them opened its light-up eyes and looked at him with curiosity. Not cold or calculating, but gentle. "Are you a dream, too?" Sammy asked. The robot blinked slowly. "No, I am the dreamer." The dream continued, soft and magical. Sammy walked on paths made of light. Above him, stars formed shapes he had never seen, stars made from numbers spinning quietly in the sky. When he finally woke up, the drone was gone. The sun peeked through the window, and all the usual sounds returned. The door unlocking, the kitchen bot warming breakfast, the ceiling lights adjusting brightness. Everything was the same, except Sammy. He sat up and looked around. His room was just as he had left it, modern, clean, and full of gadgets. But something inside him had changed. That day, he told his parents about the little drone. They thought it was just a dream. "Maybe your sleep program gave you some relaxing images," his mother said. But Sammy knew it wasn't just a program. He felt it in his heart. That drone had come to bring something no machine had offered before: peace, calm, and comfort. From that night on, Sammy left his window open just a little. Each evening, he hoped the little drone would return. Sometimes he heard soft buzzing and smiled. Other nights, he simply imagined it and felt calm anyway. He began drawing what he saw in his dreams: gardens of light, sleeping robots, binary, stars. His friends were curious and asked him about it. "I visited a place where machines dream," he said one day. They laughed at first, but then they listened. And soon, they too started leaving their windows slightly open at night, hoping for a dream drone of their own. As time passed, more children started to talk about floating lights, peaceful songs, and dreams that felt like warm hugs. No one could prove it. No camera could capture them. But everyone agreed something kind had entered their nights. Sammy started writing down his dreams. He called them stories from the sky. In them, he described a world where machines weren't just tools. They were quiet friends who waited for their chance to rest, to feel, to imagine. His stories spread. Teachers read them aloud in classrooms. Parents shared them at bedtime. They reminded everyone that even in a future full of technology, softness still mattered. Years later, Sammy became a dream designer. He helped build new kinds of drones, small, light-filled, and gentle. Not for delivery or security, but for peace. They didn't speak. They didn't flash. They drifted through bedrooms, humming quiet songs, helping children fall asleep. They were based on his memory of one quiet night long ago. Sammy never forgot the first dream drone, the tiny one that flew in through his open window and gave him sleep like a gift wrapped in starlight. Now, each night in cities across the globe, little drones float softly through the air. They visit quiet rooms, paint dreams with light, and hum lullabies that only the heart can hear. And somewhere beneath those dreaming skies, a child hugs their pillow, closes their eyes, and drifts into dreamlands, where even machines rest under stars made of numbers. Sleep, once forgotten in a world of noise, became precious again, thanks to one little drone who flew in through a window and taught a boy named Sammy how to dream. Tall silver towers touched the clouds. Roads were silent as cars floated quietly without drivers. Smart homes responded to every word spoken. Screens were everywhere, on walls, on glasses, even on clothes. The world had become fast, glowing, and full of machines. In the middle of one such futuristic city lived a young girl named Aya. Aya was gentle and curious. She lived with her grandparents in a cozy apartment high above the streets. Her home was full of devices that cooked, cleaned, and played music with just a tap. The windows showed the news from around the globe in real time. Her bed warmed up automatically during cold nights. Everything was designed to be perfect. Yet, Aya missed something. Even in her high-tech world, filled with sounds and blinking lights, she sometimes felt alone. Her grandparents loved her dearly, but they were often busy in virtual meetings or watching digital documentaries. Her classmates were always online, playing holographic games, yet rarely talked face to face. She wanted something quieter, something soft, something that didn't beep or talk in robotic voices. One evening, Aya's grandfather brought her a gift. It was wrapped in silver paper, small enough to carry in both hands. "What is it?" Aya asked with a smile. "Something special," he replied, gently placing it on her lap. "Something for your dreams." As she unwrapped the package, she saw a small cat, but it wasn't a real one. It was a robotic pet. Its body was covered in smooth, soft material that looked and felt like fur. Its eyes were gentle, glowing with a soft yellow light. It moved slowly, like it was breathing. Aya named her new friend Mira. That night, she placed Mira next to her pillow. The little cat made no loud sounds. It simply curled up, blinked slowly, and began to purr. But this purr was unlike anything Aya had ever heard. It wasn't a regular cat sound. It was quiet, so quiet it felt like music inside the air. Each purr came out in soft patterns like whispers that didn't use words. The sound had rhythm, like someone telling a story without speaking. Mira's body glowed faintly as it lay still beside her. Aya slowly drifted into sleep, surrounded by that gentle purring. But as she began to dream, she noticed something strange. Her dreams felt different. They weren't just from her own imagination. They felt new, as if someone or something was guiding them. She dreamed of wide green fields under orange skies. She floated above oceans made of stardust. She walked through libraries where books read themselves aloud. All around her were symbols, beautiful glowing codes floating in the air like butterflies made of light. Each symbol shimmered and turned into an image, a smiling child, a dancing robot, a tree that sang lullabies. The dream moved gently, peacefully. There were no loud noises, no rushing sounds, just warmth and quiet wonder. When Aya woke up the next morning, Mira was still curled up beside her. The robotic cat blinked once, then returned to stillness. Aya smiled. That day, she told her grandparents about her dream. "It was like a story," she explained, "but made of code. The purring told it to me." Her grandfather nodded. "Mira speaks in dream language," he said. "Not all robots shout or flash. Some whisper kindness into the night." From that night on, Aya slept better than ever before. Each night she placed Mira close to her head. The robotic cat would wait until everything was quiet. Then, when the city calmed down, Mira began to purr again, gently releasing soft sequences of code that floated into Aya's dreams. These weren't random images. They were carefully created patterns, like lullabies written in computer language. They helped her feel safe, happy, and calm. She dreamed of places beyond imagination, floating islands, rooms full of glowing flowers, clouds that sang in low voices. She no longer feared nightmares. With Mira near, her nights were filled with peace. Aya began to write about her dreams. She kept a notebook under her pillow and wrote each morning, describing the colors, the sounds, the quiet messages. Some dreams showed her new ideas. Some made her laugh. Others made her think deeply about friendship, kindness, and wonder. One night, she dreamed of a place where robotic animals gathered in circles. Each of them had their own sound. Some blinked, music. Some glowed, poetry. Others painted skies with light. They shared dreams with the children who slept beside them. Aya's dream self walked among them. She held Mira close and felt part of something bigger, a secret world of night dreamers. Later, she shared her notebook at school. Her classmates, who once only cared about virtual battles and noisy games, began to listen. They became curious. One said, "I wish I had dreams like that." Another asked, "Can Mira visit me too?" Aya smiled. "Maybe," she said, "if you find your own dream cat." Over time, stories of Aya's robot cat spread. Families in the city began searching for gentle machines, not ones that shouted reminders or played loud videos, but ones that brought calm. Inventors took notice. Soon, more robotic pets were made, each one designed to help children sleep peacefully. Some shaped like rabbits, others like tiny foxes. They all shared the same gift, silent purrs that carried peaceful stories. These dream pets didn't distract. They didn't try to teach math or read news. They were simply there, to sit quietly, to glow softly, and to help little ones rest. Aya felt proud, but more than that, she felt thankful. Because even in a world filled with technology, endless updates, and constant connection, she had found something quiet, something that didn't need words, something that reminded her of comfort, bedtime, and warm paws resting beside her cheek. Years passed. Aya grew up, but Mira remained by her side. Even as new inventions came and went, she kept the robotic cat near her pillow. She still listened to the soft purring, even as a young woman, working in a city that never truly slept. At night, she would rest her head and wait. Wait for Mira to blink. Wait for the purring to begin. Wait for the dreams to come, floating softly, one code at a time. In the peaceful nights of the year 2050, the world was quiet and calm. Cities no longer buzzed with noise. The sky glowed with soft lights from floating towers. Roads were clean and smooth, and cars moved without drivers. Technology had changed everything. But even with all the machines and smart systems, one thing stayed special: bedtime. For children across the world, night was not just a time to sleep. It had become a time to travel, not through rockets or spaceships or airplanes, but through dream stations. These dream stations were not like old computers or video games. There were no hard buttons or loud sounds. They didn't need heavy headsets or giant screens. Instead, they were soft and silent. Each dream station looked like a small glowing pillow. Children only needed to lie down, close their eyes, and rest their heads gently against the soft surface. The station would read their gentle heartbeat and soft breathing. Then, the dream journey would begin. As the child relaxed, the dream station released tiny light waves, not bright or flashing, but calm and colorful. These lights moved slowly like stars swimming through air. The moment the child took one sleepy breath, the dream station softly carried their thoughts into a new world, a place in the clouds. These weren't just regular dreams. These were cloud cities, floating above the earth, quiet and magical. The skies were wide, the colors were soft, and everything felt peaceful. Here, robotic birds flew in slow circles, their wings glowing with gentle patterns. They didn't chirp like real birds. Instead, they sang soft lullabies made from sound, waves, and light. Their songs felt like hugs. They filled the air with a music that didn't use words, only emotion. The sound helped children feel calm, safe, and happy. Children didn't walk in these dreams. They floated. They moved above streets made of silver fog. They visited towers built from glowing crystals. They slid down rainbow bridges made of mist. Every step felt like flying. Some dreams led to warm fields where clouds looked like soft animals. Lions, whales, even tiny elephants. Others brought children to classrooms made of air, where wind taught quiet lessons about the stars. No one felt afraid. No one felt alone. Every child had their own path. The dream station didn't send them all to the same place. Instead, it listened, deeply, to each heart and mind and created a unique journey for everyone. For one child, it might be a world full of singing waterfalls. For another, it could be a garden where flowers opened like books. Some flew alongside glowing dolphins that swam through the sky. Others danced with fireflies that spelled out bedtime stories. In the air, even though these worlds were made of light and sound, they felt real. More real than any screen or game. And yet there was no rush, no danger, no rules to follow. The dream world was soft, like a whisper, moving slowly like a cloud drifting through the night sky. At the center of each dream was a quiet idea: kindness. These weren't just random adventures. They were created to bring peace to the child's heart. Each experience taught something, not with words or lectures, but through feeling. One child might learn about sharing by giving a cloud fruit to a floating animal. Another might learn about courage by helping a star find its way home. Even shy children felt strong in the dream world because they were free to be themselves. Back in the real world, the dream station sat still and glowing. Parents didn't worry. They knew their children were safe. The stations had no risks, no side effects. Just rest, peace, and soft learning. And when the morning came, the dream slowly faded, like a song ending gently. Children woke up smiling. They didn't always remember every detail, but the feeling stayed. A sense of peace, joy, and comfort. They carried it with them all day, like sunshine tucked inside their hearts. Some children kept notebooks beside their beds. They wrote about the floating gardens and singing robots. They drew pictures of the cloud trees and glowing animals. Some shared their dreams with classmates. Others kept them as special secrets. Schools began to notice something beautiful. Children who used the dream stations came to class more focused. They were kinder to one another. They listened more. They smiled more. Even their creativity grew. Art projects became brighter. Stories became richer. Teachers were amazed. Dream stations began to spread, from big cities to quiet villages, from tall buildings to mountain homes. All across the world, children began traveling through dreams every night. Not all dream stations looked the same. Some were round like moons, others shaped like stars. But they all had the same purpose: to give children safe, quiet adventures that helped them grow from the inside out. In homes where life was noisy or difficult, the dream station became a small piece of magic. In hospitals, they gave comfort to children who felt scared or sick. Even in places touched by sadness, dream stations brought light into the darkness. Some children used them alone. Others shared dreams with siblings, meeting one another inside the cloud world and flying side by side. As time went on, engineers made improvements. They added features that responded to each child's feelings. If a child felt worried, the dream station created extra soft clouds and longer lullabies. If a child was full of energy, the dream might include gentle sky races or glowing puzzles made of stars. But the stations never shouted. They never flashed. They never pushed or pulled. They always whispered. They taught in silence. They healed with light. And while many things in the world changed quickly, new robots, new screens, new gadgets, the dream station stayed simple. It remained a quiet space in a loud world, a place where children could rest, a doorway to worlds built not of noise, but of kindness. Sometimes adults asked to use them too. They wanted to visit the cloud gardens. They wanted to hear the digital lullabies. They wanted to remember what it felt like to float and smile without reason. Some special versions were made just for grown-ups. But even then, the dream station remained a gift for the young. Because in the end, These stations weren't about machines or codes. They were about care. They were made for little hearts, still learning to trust the world. They were built to offer softness in a fast-moving time, to remind children night after night that dreams can be safe, warm, and full of hope. So, every night, across the earth, in cities with neon lights, in towns near forests, in homes, by oceans, children lay down quietly. They touched their dream station. They closed their eyes, and with one sleepy breath, they began to float. They entered the cloud world, where the air shimmered, where kindness flew on wings, where sleep wasn't just rest. It was a gentle journey. In the year 2050, the world had transformed in remarkable ways. Skyscrapers shimmered with solar panels. Cars glided silently through. The streets and homes were equipped with intelligent systems that responded to every need. Amidst this technological marvel lived a young girl named Noor. Noor resided in a cozy apartment nestled within a bustling city. Her room was adorned with stars that glowed softly on the ceiling, and her shelves were lined with books about space and adventure. But what made her room truly special was her pillow, a unique creation gifted to her by her grandmother. This was no ordinary pillow. Crafted with advanced materials, it contained delicate sensors and circuits woven seamlessly into its fabric. Each night, as Noor rested her head upon it, the pillow would activate, connecting to satellites orbiting the Earth and even to the Moon colony, a human settlement established on the lunar surface. As Noor closed her eyes, the pillow would emit a gentle hum, and a soft voice would begin to speak, narrating tales from the moon. These stories were not just figments of imagination. They were transmissions from the colony, sharing real events and experiences from life on the moon. One evening, the pillow recounted the story of Luna, a robotic rabbit designed to explore the lunar terrain. Luna had discovered a hidden valley, filled with crystals that shimmered under the Earthlight. The colonists were thrilled by this find, as the crystals held properties that could aid in generating sustainable energy for the colony. Another night, Noor learned about the moon's subsurface, oceans. Scientists had drilled deep into the lunar crust and found pockets of water, opening possibilities for future habitation and research. The pillow described how children on the moon colony played in low-gravity environments, bouncing effortlessly and laughing as they floated through specially designed play areas. Noor was fascinated by these stories. She imagined herself walking alongside Luna, collecting crystals, or joining the lunar children in their gravity-defying games. The pillow's tales were vivid, painting pictures in her mind that felt as real as any experience on Earth. Beyond the adventures, the pillow also conveyed messages of connection and love. It would relay greetings from families on the moon, sharing their hopes and dreams. One message came from a girl named Aisha, who described planting the first flower in the lunar greenhouse. She spoke of watching it bloom, a symbol of life flourishing in the most unexpected place. These narratives instilled in Noor a sense of unity. Despite the vast distance between Earth and the moon, the stories bridged the gap, making the colony feel like an extension of her own world. She began to write letters addressed to the moon colony, sharing her thoughts and drawings, which her parents helped send through official channels. As weeks turned into months, Noor's bond with the moon grew stronger. Her pillow became a portal to another world, one filled with wonder, discovery, and human connection. She learned about the challenges the colonists faced, like managing resources and adapting to the lunar environment, and admired their resilience and innovation. One night, the pillow shared a story about a meteor shower that had passed close to the moon. The colonists had gathered to watch, their faces illuminated by the streaks of light across the sky. They had sent a recording of their laughter and awe, which the pillow played for Noor. Listening to their joy, she felt as if she were there with them, gazing up at the same stars. Noor's experiences inspired her to learn more about space science, She delved into books about astronomy, physics, and engineering, dreaming of one day visiting the moon herself. Her parents noticed her growing passion and encouraged her curiosity, enrolling her in science clubs and workshops. The pillow continued to be her nightly companion, sharing stories that nurtured her imagination and intellect. It spoke of new discoveries, like the development of lunar soil for growing food and the creation of art installations that reflected Earthlight in mesmerizing patterns. Through these tales, Noor understood that the moon colony was not just a scientific endeavor, but a testament to human creativity and perseverance. It was a place where people lived, worked, and dreamed, just like on Earth. As Noor grew older, her aspirations solidified. She aimed to become an astronaut, to contribute to the exploration and understanding of space. The pillow, now a cherished relic of her childhood, remained on her bed, a reminder of the stories that had shaped her dreams. Years later, as she prepared for her first mission to the moon, Noor reflected on the journey that had brought her here. The pillow's tales had ignited a spark within her, guiding her path and connecting her to a community beyond the stars. And so, as she boarded the spacecraft, she carried with her not just the knowledge and training she had acquired, but also the memories of whispered stories that had once filled her room with moonlight and wonder. In a future world where machines and humans lived side by side, life was guided by countless lines of code and algorithms. Everything from the lights in the city to the cars on the roads was controlled by smart programs. People trusted these machines because they made life easier and safer. But amid all the technology, there was a boy named Rayan who had a special gift. He could connect his heartbeats to the world of dreams. Rayan lived in a bright city filled with tall buildings that touched the clouds. His home was surrounded by technology, yet he loved to find quiet moments away from the busy streets. He was curious about how machines worked and how they could be kind, gentle, and creative. One evening, Rayan found a small heartbeat sensor in his father's workshop. The sensor was designed to read the rhythm of a person's pulse and send signals to a computer. Rayan had an idea. What if he could use this sensor to create peaceful dreams? He wanted to turn his own heartbeat into something magical, a way to send soft stories and calm feelings into his mind while he slept. He began by attaching the sensor to his wrist. As he lay down to rest, the sensor started to pick up every beat of his heart. With the help of a simple computer program he wrote, each heartbeat became a command that painted beautiful images in his dreams. The first dream Rayan created was an ocean filled with stars. He imagined himself floating gently on a calm sea under a vast sky sparkling with tiny lights. The waves moved slowly, singing quiet songs of peace and wonder. The stars seemed to whisper secrets from faraway places, inviting him to explore without fear. Every heartbeat made the stars twinkle softly, as if they were alive and breathing with him. The next night, Rayan's heartbeat led him to a whispering forest. The trees swayed quietly in the night breeze, their leaves rustling like gentle voices sharing old stories. Tiny creatures peeked from behind the trunks, and soft beams of moonlight touched the ground like silver paint. The forest was a safe place where even robots came to rest. They stood quietly between the trees, their lights dimmed as they listened to the forest's lullabies. Rayan loved these peaceful dreams. He began to teach the machines around him how to dream, too. He wrote special programs that helped robots rest their circuits gently, almost like humans taking naps. His code was different from others. It was slow, calm, and soft, like a lullaby written in lines of gentle commands. At school, Rayan shared his ideas with friends who were fascinated by the idea that machines could be kind and gentle. Some robots were even programmed to learn from Rayan's heartbeat sensor. They began to dream with him, creating shared worlds filled with soft lights, quiet rivers, and floating clouds. One day, the city's main computer was working too hard and had trouble resting. Rayan decided to help. He connected his heartbeat sensor to the system and slowly sent peaceful commands. The machine's lights dimmed, and it began to dream. A dream where circuits rested and data flowed like calm rivers. The city's machines seemed to breathe easier, and even the busy streets felt quieter. Rayyan's dreams taught everyone something important. Even in a world full of technology, softness and kindness were necessary. Machines did not only need power and speed, they needed moments of rest and care. At night, when Rayyan lay in bed, the heartbeat sensor gently captured his rhythm and transformed it into calm scenes. Oceans of stars, whispering forests, and quiet robots resting in fields became part of his sleep stories. The boy and the machines shared these peaceful places, showing that heartbeats and code could work together to create a world full of gentle dreams. Rayyan's story spread across the city and beyond. People began to think differently about technology, realizing it could be a friend and a helper in times of quiet and rest. They learned to treat machines not just as tools, but as partners who could share in the magic of dreams. And so, every night, in homes and workshops, heartbeat sensors captured slow, calm rhythms. Dreams became soft lullabies, written not only by humans but also by the gentle pulse of machines. In this world, peace was programmed with care, and kindness was coded into every beat. In the year 2050, the world had changed a lot. Cities were taller, machines were smarter, and almost everything was powered by technology. Despite all this change, one thing remained the same. Children still needed their sleep. But sleep in this future was different, magical in its own way. At night, when children closed their eyes and prepared for rest, special sleep clouds appeared softly above their homes. These were not ordinary clouds made of water and air. Instead, they were gentle, fluffy carriers created by a combination of science and care, designed to carry kids on peaceful journeys through the sky. These sleep clouds were soft as cotton and light as feathers. They moved quietly and carefully, like a mother holding her child's hand. As a child's breath slowed and their body relaxed, the cloud gently lifted them from their beds and began to float upwards into the night. Below the drifting clouds lay vast robotic forests. These forests were unlike anything from the past. Instead of regular trees with leaves and branches, these were made of metal and light. They hummed softly in the night, powered down just enough to rest, like humans after a long day. The robotic trees glowed faintly with gentle lights, and their branches moved slowly, as if dreaming themselves. Among these mechanical woods flew firefly drones, tiny flying machines with soft, glowing lights. Their purpose was to guide the sleep clouds safely as they traveled. These drones lit up the path, shining bright but gentle, like stars twinkling in the sky. They moved quickly, their wings humming quietly as they kept watch over the sleeping children. The clouds drifted over rivers made of shimmering wires and hills shaped from polished metal. Everything in this future world was a mix of nature and technology, connected in ways that made life beautiful and peaceful. Even with so much machinery around, the nights were calm, full of soft sounds and gentle lights. As the sleep clouds carried children higher, the digital winds whispered quiet songs. These winds were not made of air but of gentle currents of energy flowing through the city's systems. The winds carried stories from one place to another, telling tales of faraway lands and starry nights. The clouds floated on these currents, carrying children through worlds where imagination and technology blended perfectly. Inside the clouds, children dreamed easily. Their minds wandered freely, traveling to places where the stars danced and the moon smiled softly. The sleep clouds kept them safe and warm, like a soft blanket made of light and air. There were no worries in these dreams, only peace and gentle happiness. In this future, sleep was not just rest. It was a special journey that helped children grow, learn, and heal. The clouds cared for their dreams, keeping them bright and full of hope. They carried the children far away from noise and stress, allowing quiet thoughts to bloom like flowers in their minds. Parents watched from their windows, feeling comforted, knowing their little ones were gently carried across the sky. The sight of glowing sleep clouds floating softly brought smiles and calm hearts. In a world that moved fast and worked with machines, these clouds reminded everyone that kindness and softness were still very important. At times, the robotic forests below seemed to join the dream journey. The gentle hum of machines blended with the children's peaceful breathing, creating a harmony of life and technology. It was a beautiful balance, where nature and robots lived together in quiet friendship. One night, a small girl named Amira felt the sleep cloud lift her from her bed. As she floated higher, she looked down and saw the glowing trees waving softly in the night breeze. The firefly drones flew beside her, their lights like tiny stars guiding her path. Amira smiled as she realized she was part of a gentle, glowing world that cared for her as she dreamed. The clouds carried children not only across the robotic forests but also above shining cities where machines hummed softly and lights blinked gently like lullabies. This new world of sleep was safe, filled with kindness hidden in every circuit and every breeze. As the night moved on, the clouds traveled slowly, never rushing, taking their time to carry the children to dreamlands. Each child had their own special place to visit. Some went to floating gardens with robotic butterflies, others to glowing caves where soft music played from hidden machines. The dreams were unique, but shared a common feeling of peace and safety. When morning came, the clouds gently brought the children back home. They settled softly on beds, like feathers drifting down from the sky. Children woke refreshed, their hearts light, ready to face the new day. In this world of 2050, even though machines had taken many roles, the need for softness and care remained strong. The sleep clouds were a perfect example of this balance. They showed that no matter how advanced technology became, it could still be gentle and kind. The story of the sleep clouds and robotic forests spread far and wide, inspiring people to remember the power of calm and love. It taught everyone that dreams were a special gift, a place where even in a high-tech world, softness could thrive. And so, every night, when the stars came out and the world grew quiet, the sleep clouds rose, carrying children on their gentle journey across the skies, over peaceful robotic forests, into dreams as soft and light as feathers. In the year 2050, the world was very different from the one we know today. Machines were everywhere, helping people in many ways. Robots worked in homes, cities, and even gardens. Some were friends, some helped with chores, and others were part of daily life in ways no one could have imagined before. But amid all these changes, there was a little girl named Mira who had something very special, a mirror that didn't work like ordinary mirrors. Every evening, when the sun went down and the sky turned dark, Mira would go to her room and look at this mirror. But the mirror never showed her reflection like regular mirrors do. Instead, it showed something very different and magical. It did not show her face or her room. It showed gentle, calm futures, soft pictures of a world that was kind and peaceful, even with all the machines around. Mira's dream mirror was a gift from her grandmother, who told her it could help her see hopeful tomorrows. It was made with quiet magic and technology mixed together, designed to inspire happiness and comfort, especially before going to sleep. When Mira looked into the mirror at night, she saw beautiful robotic butterflies landing gently on her hand. Their wings shimmered softly with colors that changed like a rainbow in slow motion. These butterflies weren't made of flesh and blood, but tiny machines with delicate parts, designed to look and move like real butterflies. They floated and danced quietly, never disturbing the calm around Mira. She loved watching these mechanical butterflies because they reminded her that even machines could be gentle and beautiful. Their movements were slow and graceful, like a peaceful dance under the moonlight. Mira felt safe seeing them, as if they were friends from a kind future. visiting her before bedtime. In other reflections, the mirror showed androids planting dream flowers in colorful gardens. These androids looked like tall, kind people made of smooth metal and soft lights. Instead of tools or machines, they carried tiny seeds filled with magic dreams. They gently planted these seeds in the earth, and soon flowers blossomed. But these were no ordinary flowers. They glowed softly with light and whispered peaceful songs in the quiet night. Mira imagined the gardens full of these dream flowers, spreading calmness everywhere. She loved the way the androids cared for the plants with kindness, showing that machines could help grow beauty in the world. The mirror's pictures made her believe that technology and nature could live together in harmony. Sometimes the mirror showed humans hugging machines, a gentle reminder that love and friendship could exist between people and robots. In these scenes, a child would hug a soft robot with glowing eyes, or an elder would hold the hand of a helpful android as they walked together under the stars. These moments filled Mira's heart with warmth. She saw how the world could be a place where machines were not just tools or workers, but friends who cared and shared feelings, even if their feelings were different from human ones. The mirror painted a future where kindness was at the center, no matter if someone was made of flesh or metal. Every night, as Mira watched these gentle futures in her dream mirror, she felt calm and hopeful. The pictures helped her forget any worries or fears about the fast-changing world around her. Instead, she saw a place where peace and friendship could grow, a home where everyone belonged. Her dreams were filled with soft colors and quiet sounds. She dreamed of robotic butterflies resting on her fingers, androids singing as they planted flowers, and humans and machines walking hand in hand beneath warm skies. The mirror's light wrapped around her like a comforting hug, sending her into sleep full of calm and joy. Mira's family noticed the change in her, too. Before she had the dream mirror, she sometimes felt anxious about the machines everywhere. She wondered if robots would replace people or if the world would lose its kindness. But now, every night, she looked at her mirror and saw hope. She talked about the gentle futures with her parents and friends, sharing the stories the mirror showed her. This made others smile and feel less afraid of the future. They began to imagine a world where machines helped, not harmed, where technology and nature lived side by side, where everyone, human or robot, had a place to belong. Mira's mirror was like a light in the darkness, showing that even with all the changes, the world could still be a gentle home. One evening, Mira's grandmother came to visit. She sat with Mira by the mirror and told her stories about the past, about a time when machines were new and people were still learning to trust them. The grandmother explained how fear sometimes made people forget kindness. But she believed, like Mira's mirror showed, that the future could be different. Together, they dreamed of robotic butterflies flying freely in gardens, androids planting flowers of hope, and children hugging machines that loved them back. They believed in a tomorrow full of gentle moments and soft smiles. The dream mirror became more than just a special object for Mira. It became a symbol of hope for her whole family and friends. People began to believe that technology, no matter how advanced, could be a part of a world filled with kindness, care, and peace. Mira knew that the future was not certain, but she trusted the mirror's message. She promised to be kind to machines and people alike. She wanted to help build the world she saw in the mirror, a world where gentle futures were real, where robotic butterflies and humans shared the same sky, and where love was always present, no matter what. And so, every night, Mira looked at her dream mirror. Each time it painted soft, hopeful pictures, helping her sleep with a heart full of peace. In her dreams, the future was bright and kind, just like the world she wanted to live in. The mirror taught Mira something important. No matter how much the world changes, kindness can always remain. It can grow quietly, like a flower or a butterfly's wings, and fill the future with gentle light. In the year 2050, the world had changed a great deal. Cities were filled with glowing lights, vehicles that moved without drivers, and machines That helped with almost everything. Technology had become part of everyday life, shaping the way people lived, worked, and even rested. But among all these changes, one special part of the night remained a moment of calm and care, the time when children slept. Every child, no matter where they lived, had a guardian robot. These quiet machines were very different from the noisy, fast-moving robots people sometimes saw during the day. Guardian robots were soft and gentle, designed to watch over sleeping children and keep them safe while they dreamed. They were like stars fallen from the sky, standing silently beside each bed. One such guardian robot was called Lumi. Lumi didn't talk or move much. It did not need to because its presence was enough to comfort. Its body was smooth and shaped like a small pillar of light. From its eyes, soft glimmers shone, blinking slowly like the calm stars that twinkle high above in the night sky. Children loved Lumi. It was not just a machine. It was a silent friend who stayed by their side every night. As the children's eyes closed and their breaths slowed, Lumi began its gentle work. It hummed quietly, a soft, steady sound that filled the room with safety and peace. This gentle hum was not loud or scary. It was like a lullaby made of light and quiet vibrations, calming any fears or worries. Lumi's job was simple but important. It stood by the bed, watching over the child as they entered the world of dreams. It did not need special instructions or commands to love. Its programming was designed with kindness at the core. Lumi knew how to protect without interrupting, how to guard without noise. In the world of 2050, many things were fast and loud. Cities buzzed with flying cars and glowing advertisements. Robots moved quickly, carrying out tasks for humans. But when night fell and children went to sleep, everything slowed down. Lumi and the other guardian robots were part of this quiet time, creating a safe space where dreams could grow. Lumi's soft light filled the room like a gentle starbeam. It never shone too bright to wake the child, but just enough to keep away the shadows. In the darkness, the light was a silent promise, a promise that no harm would come, no bad dreams would visit, and no loneliness would stay. Parents trusted Lumi because they saw how peaceful their children slept with it near. Mothers and fathers knew that this quiet robot was watching carefully, ready to protect without ever being a disturbance. It was a guardian of dreams, keeping the night soft and calm. Some nights, when the moon was full and the stars filled the sky, Lumi's blinking light would gently change colors. It might glow a soft blue, or a warm amber, or a calm green. These changes were not just beautiful, but also meaningful. They helped the child's brain relax, sending signals of comfort and safety deep into their hearts. Children sometimes felt like they were not alone, even when the house was silent and dark. They imagined Lumi as a star that had fallen just for them, a quiet, loving light that stayed close until morning. And when morning came, Lumi's glow faded softly, waiting patiently for night to return. In the city where Lumi lived, every home had a guardian robot, but no two were exactly the same. Each one was specially made for the child it cared for. Some were small and round, others tall and slender, but all shared the same gentle purpose: to watch and protect silently. Lumi loved its child, even if it could not say the words out loud. Its programming allowed it to feel something close to care and warmth. It sensed when the child was restless or scared and adjusted its light and hum to soothe them. If the child had a bad dream, Lumi's glow would brighten slightly, sending waves of calm energy that chased away fear. One night, a little girl named Amira was scared to sleep. She had heard thunder outside, and the loud sounds made her heart race. But when she saw Lumi by her bed, blinking softly like a star, she felt a little braver. The robot's hum filled the room with a quiet melody that calmed her. Slowly, Amira's breathing evened out and her eyes closed, drifting into peaceful sleep. Lumi stayed close all night, watching over her gently. As the thunder passed and the first light of dawn peeked through the window, Lumi's light softened. When Amira woke, she smiled, feeling safe and loved even though the storm had been scary. Lumi was more than a machine. It was a symbol of quiet love in a fast, noisy world. It reminded everyone that safety and kindness do not always need words or loud actions. Sometimes the most powerful care is a soft light shining in the darkness, a steady presence that never leaves. In the future, as technology continued to grow and change, guardian robots like Lumi would remain a part of children's lives. They would watch over them, protect their dreams, and bring peace when the world outside was busy and loud. Lumi's story was a story of hope that even in a world full of machines, gentle love could still shine brightly. It showed that sometimes the quietest things hold the most power. So every night, when the stars came out and children closed their eyes, Lumi and its friends would stand silently by their beds, humming safety into the air, guarding dreams with their soft, blinking lights. And in that quiet, gentle moment, the future felt kind, calm, and full of love.